some people will tell you that to be a successful powerlifter, or to be a successful anything, that you have to remove fear from your life. You have to take it away and just not allow it to ever happen. And I think there's some of a point to that. I think that it's important to not be frozen by that fear, not be forced to inaction because you're nervous or anxious or having issues with some self-belief. And I think it's really important, especially in an oversaturated YouTube fitness community of people that are telling you all the time to always believe in yourself, and that this super hyper positive attitude, which I myself am a big proponent of, are something that you always have to have. I think it's really important to take into consideration and definitely acknowledge the fact that there are going to be times when you are less confident. Even when things appear like they're going really well. I could do this commentary and tell you guys that I was really confident in every single squat I did today and every decision I had made through the last 8 weeks of programming and 9 weeks of programming, that there was never a point in my mind where I would have wavered or thought about doing something differently. And I just want to be honest with all of you and say I was pretty darn nervous going into this squat session. I don't like doing sets of 5. I hate it. To me, that's a pretty high rep range, and I know that's ridiculous for anybody but a powerlifter to say, but I don't condition myself to deal with this kind of rep range very often at all. And so I was getting a little bit nervous moving into these heavier sets. My plan today was to hit 505 for 5, 535 for 5, and then go for a 555 for 5. And some of you are saying, well, Ben, we've seen you do that before. Yes, I've done it before, but I went back and looked through all the videos where I've done it in the past, and I have not yet found a set where my current mindset and idea of what acceptable depth and performance of the lift looks like, I didn't see that in any of those old videos. My standard is higher, my expectations are higher now, and so there was more at risk, I guess, in this set than there has been in the past. And I was pretty nervous moving forward. I considered cutting the rep range down on the previous workup sets, the 505 and the 535. I said, well, what if I just do 1 or 2 reps there and save myself for the top set? But that kind of misses the point, and it throws me off of the consistency that I've had of doing an opener set, a second attempt set, and then going for the real thing, because I want to condition myself to be able to go to the meet and take the scariest number or take the heaviest number as a real third attempt with every intention of actually squatting it. And I was fortunate enough that my buddy Garrett Blevins called me right after my 535 squat, and I had my cell phone with me, so I answered it, and he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm squatting. And he wanted to tell me some exciting news that I'm not going to spoil. I'll let you guys tune into his channel, which I'll leave in the description. You guys can check that out. I'm sure in the next few days or weeks he will make that announcement. But yeah, I told him straight up, I said, I'm just nervous about this top set because the sets of 5 leading up tend to gas my lower back. I get pretty pumpy, and it's just hard to brace, and the style of squatting that I do is kind of difficult to maintain for anything more than a double or a triple, just with the amount of intra-abdominal pressure that's required to keep the squat where it needs to be to work. And he said, you know what, just take it 1 rep at a time, and I know you can do it. You know you can do it. Your biggest issue is going to be not cutting the depth. Make sure you take the first rep deeper. Make sure that every single rep after that is, okay, 1 more deep. And if you do it, then do another one. And that kind of a thought really got me through that set. And this is probably the first 555 I've actually been proud of. Or at least looking back, I was proud of them at the time. And could it be better? Yes. Did I rate it probably a little higher than it needed to be after watching it? Yes, I think that I could have done another rep, but I think that it was right where it needed to be, and I think I'm right on track. So no complaints, and I'm just excited that it's gone that way, and I'm thankful to have friends and people that are supportive in this community to be able to have my back and who believe me sometimes when I'm not as sure of myself. And I think that's something that needs to be highlighted. in this community. A lot of us get nervous about this stuff. The people that you watch and follow and are expected to have these super high standards of performance get nervous sometimes. And if they tell you they never get nervous or they never have anything invested in it, you know, they don't worry about missing it or not, they're either not being honest with themselves or they're not being honest with you. We all get nervous about these things. And if you let your confidence get to a point where it's too high, that's when you end up getting hurt. So I think it's important to balance that, to realize your ability, be honest with yourself, be honest with your capability, and to pursue that positive mentality of saying, you know, I can do this, and the worst that's going to happen is maybe it doesn't work out this time, but there's more time, and you can keep pushing that and keep pursuing it. And that's why this sort of a venture is so fulfilling, because there isn't a point where you're just done and that's it. There's always more to do, there's always higher to get, and there's always more mentally tough and physically strong to become. After the squats, I moved into my bench pressing, and I did have to wait a little bit of time in between those. I had some guys that needed a chance to try the deadlift bar before they have their meet, and so I let them come over and did my benching afterwards. The pec was bugging me a little bit again. I need to get my upper body mobility on par with my lower body mobility work, and that's just something I'll fix in the future. So I didn't end up going for my top set of 5 with 335. Instead, I put on 345 and did a couple of triples. Historically, my bench has benefited more from heavier, lower rep lifting as opposed to super high rep stuff, but I'll make sure that I make up some of that later in the week. Hopefully my pec will heal up a little bit, and I have a couple of other options and thoughts of ways to work around that and make sure that I just stay healthy going into the meet, because I do not want to screw myself out of having a good competitive bench because I am stubbornly sticking to this plan that is so immovable that it doesn't take into consideration the fact that sometimes you just have to make sure you're healthy so you can lift well. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like rating, share it with your friends. If you didn't, go ahead and watch it again. Give yourself another chance. I hope you will change your mind, and if that's not the case, go ahead and like it anyway. It really does help the channel. Other than that, I will have another coaching tips video up in the next day or two, going to be discussing intra-abdominal pressure, breathing, bracing for the power lifts. I talked about that core work before, and this is going to give you guys an idea of how to implement that in your training. So hope you're all having a great time wherever you're at with whatever you're doing, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.